"If you fix this engine, I'll marry you." Alien laughed. "Humble human mechanic fixed IT sci-fi." Jax wiped his hands on a worn rag, the smell of grease clinging to his clothes. The small workshop he ran at the edge of the spaceport was quiet compared to the loud bustle outside. Ships of every kind, sleek starliners, bulky cargo haulers, and alien crafts with shapes Jax had never seen before, came and went, leaving trails of smoke and noise. The humans who worked at the port often joked that it was like the universe itself had crowded into one place. For Jax, it was home, and his small corner, filled with tools, spare parts, and the hum of half-finished engines, was a sanctuary. Humans were not known for engineering in this part of the galaxy. Most aliens looked down on them, seeing humans as fragile, weak, and hopelessly slow. Jax had learned long ago not to mind the whispers. He had something most of them lacked: patience, careful observation, and an unshakable curiosity. He could fix things that even the most advanced alien engineers could not, and he didn't need to shout about it. His work spoke for itself. The quiet of the morning was broken by a roar unlike any engine sound Jax had ever heard. It shook the floorboards and rattled the metal shelves. Curious, he wiped his hands and stepped outside. In the docking bay stood a ship that seemed to defy gravity itself. Its hull shimmered with colors that changed as it moved, and intricate patterns of alien symbols ran along the sides. But the ship wasn't moving. Its engine was sputtering and sparking in a way that looked dangerous. Standing beside the ship was an alien unlike any Jax had met before. Tall and flamboyant, with 4 arms and shimmering skin that shifted colors with every motion, the alien carried an air of arrogance so thick it was almost visible. The alien's eyes, large, golden, and sharply intelligent, scanned the workers around him. He laughed, a sound that echoed across the port. "You there, human," the alien shouted, pointing one of his many arms at Jax. "Come here." "This engine," he said with a dramatic flourish, "is the heart of my ship. I have spent years searching for someone who can fix it. Many of your species would fail immediately, I am told. But I see a spark in your eyes, human. Perhaps you are different." The engine looked complicated, more complicated than anything he had worked on before, but he had learned to respect a challenge. The alien leaned closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. "If you fix this engine, I will marry you." He laughed loudly at his own joke, expecting Jax to look shocked, confused, or frightened. Jax blinked, unsure how to respond. Marriage. To an alien he had just met. He had heard enough tall tales from travelers at the port to know that aliens loved grand, impossible jokes. "I'll keep that in mind," he said cautiously, hiding a smile. He didn't laugh at the joke, he preferred to observe, to understand before reacting. The alien shook his head in exaggerated amusement, clearly enjoying the human's serious demeanor. "Yes, yes. I expect you to fail. All humans fail at tasks like this. They are clever in small ways, but the universe is too complex for them. Show me, human, prove me wrong." Whispers spread quickly. "The human can't do it, and why waste time?" "This is going to be tricky," he muttered to himself. He could see immediately that the engine was unlike any human technology. Its design ignored many principles humans relied on, but Jax had learned something valuable. Sometimes the best solution wasn't to copy the original design. Sometimes the solution came from understanding the problem in a completely different way. He spent the next few hours inspecting the engine. He traced the flow of energy through its conduits, listened to the subtle vibrations of its moving parts, and observed the strange alien alloys that made up its structure. Most of the other workers at the port had already gone back to their own tasks, shaking their heads at the human's audacity. Jax noticed something important. The engine wasn't broken in the way everyone thought. The problem wasn't a missing part or a burnt-out circuit. It was a subtle misalignment, a flaw in the design itself that no one had noticed before. The solution would require patience, careful adjustment, and a human touch, a combination of finesse, logic, and intuition. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. Sparks flew as he carefully adjusted the tiniest components, his hands moving slowly but confidently. He improvised small tools from scraps in his workshop, each modification designed to give the engine exactly what it needed. The alien crew watched silently, their amusement slowly turning to curiosity. Some even leaned forward, whispering among themselves. Hours passed, and Jax didn't stop. He worked through the fatigue, driven by the challenge rather than any promise of reward. His mind focused entirely on the engine, analyzing, testing, and correcting. Every adjustment made the engine hum a little more steadily, a little more smoothly. By mid-afternoon, the engine's sputtering had slowed. The sparks were fewer, and the strange hum became steadier, almost musical. Jax wiped sweat from his brow and took a step back to observe. It was progress, though not yet perfect. "Not bad," a voice said behind him. Jax turned to see the alien Krelth approaching again. His arms were crossed and his shifting skin glimmered with amusement and a hint of surprise. "You are persistent human," Krelth said. "I did not expect this. Perhaps you can fix it. Perhaps humans are not as weak as I was told. Though I confess, I am not sure I believed a human could accomplish this at all." Lights on ships flickered on and the hum of engines filled the air. Jax continued to work, undeterred by the growing crowd of onlookers. Alien voices whispered, some skeptical, some fascinated. The human mechanic, small, unassuming, and quiet, was holding their attention, not with flashy displays but with skill and patience. As night fell, Jax finally leaned back, exhausted but satisfied with his progress. The engine hummed steadily now, a smooth, even sound that resonated through the workshop. Sparks had disappeared and the alignment adjustments he had made seemed to hold perfectly. Krelth stepped forward, eyes wide in genuine astonishment. "You may actually succeed. Incredible," he said. His laughter softened into a low chuckle. "Perhaps I underestimated humans. Perhaps you are more than I thought. Only time will tell what you can achieve." And as he worked, Jax couldn't help but wonder what the next challenge would bring, and whether the alien's joke about marriage was just a joke, or something more. The night had deepened over the spaceport, and the stars above twinkled like distant diamonds. Jax's small workshop was illuminated by the soft glow of alien lights, flickering from the ships docked nearby. Outside, most of the port had quieted down, but inside, a few curious onlookers lingered, unable to resist watching the human mechanic work. Jax crouched beside the engine, studying its complex network of wires and conduits. Every part seemed to hum with energy, a strange vibration that only someone with patience and focus could notice. It was unlike any human engine he had ever seen, or any alien engine for that matter. Its design was extravagant, almost chaotic, as if the creator had thrown together brilliance and randomness in equal measure. He traced a conduit with a careful finger, listening to the subtle hum. "The problem isn't with the main power flow," he muttered to himself. "It's the regulator. It's out of phase by just a fraction." Jack smiled faintly. Humans often did more with less, he thought. Sometimes, limitations sparked creativity. He started improvising. A thin strip of flexible alloy from a broken human drone became a custom brace for the engine's regulator. A small mirror, cracked but still reflective, allowed him to see angles inside the engine that were otherwise hidden. Every tool, every scrap of metal was carefully repurposed. As he worked, he ignored the whispers of the alien crew. Some snickered quietly, others were wide-eyed with curiosity. Aliens often underestimated humans, but Jax didn't care about proving anything to them. He cared only about the engine. Hours passed, and Jax's hands grew tired. Sweat dampened his brow, and his muscles ached from bending in awkward positions. Yet, every adjustment he made seemed to improve the engine's hum. Sparks that had flown earlier were gone, replaced by a steady vibration that resonated with a quiet power. Suddenly, a conduit sparked violently. Jax leapt back, narrowly avoiding a surge of alien energy. The onlookers gasped, some murmuring about the danger, but Jax remained calm. He studied the conduit carefully, analyzing the pattern of sparks. It wasn't a failure. It was a reaction to a misalignment he had just uncovered. He nodded to himself. "Just a small correction," he said quietly. With careful precision, he adjusted the connection, realigning the conduit perfectly. The spark vanished, replaced by a smooth, continuous flow of energy. One of the alien onlookers whispered, How is he doing this?" Alien engineers would have tried to override it with more power, a risky move that could have caused a catastrophic failure. But Jax understood that brute force was not the solution. The answer lay in understanding the system's rhythm and working with it, not against it. He tapped into the engine's subtle vibrations, matching their pace with tiny adjustments to the regulators. Slowly, steadily, the engine began to stabilize. A soft glow spread from its core, pulsing in perfect harmony with the vibrations of the surrounding components. Krelth, the alien noble, stepped closer, his golden eyes wide with astonishment. "I must admit," he said, his voice quieter than usual, "I did not expect this. I truly did not believe a human could do what you are doing." Their physical abilities were limited, their technology often crude, but their creativity and adaptability, that was something few aliens truly understood. Jax's mind raced with ideas. He combined small techniques from human engineering with insights he had gained from observing alien designs. Tiny adjustments in one part of the engine caused other components to resonate in harmony. A human principle of energy distribution, applied cleverly, reduced friction in moving parts that had seemed immovable. Hours blurred into night. The stars outside twinkled in silence, as if observing Jax's work. His hands were black with grease, his face streaked with sweat and grime, yet his expression remained calm, almost serene. He was in a state of flow where every motion, every thought was perfectly synchronized with the task at hand. Suddenly, a loud click echoed from the engine, followed by a smooth hum that resonated through the workshop. Jax froze for a moment, listening. It was stable, balanced, and alive. Krelth's mouth hung open. "Impossible, yet it works," he whispered. He turned to his crew, eyes shining with a mix of disbelief and admiration. "Do you see? The human did it. Against all odds, he did it." Yet here it was. A human mechanic, small and unassuming, had tamed an engine that had baffled even the most advanced alien engineers. Jax wiped his hands, careful not to disrupt the delicate balance he had achieved. "It's not magic," he said softly. "It's observation, patience, and trying solutions carefully. Truly extraordinary. I may have laughed at my own joke earlier, but now I see that your kind is capable of great things." As the night deepened, the alien crew continued to watch in amazement. Some even whispered among themselves, considering the implications. If humans could do this, if they could solve problems no alien could, then perhaps they were more than just fragile, weak creatures. Perhaps humans were clever, adaptable, and capable of ingenuity that defied expectation. Jax, unaware of the conversations around him, adjusted a tiny regulator, listening to the rhythm of the engine. He worked slowly, methodically, never rushing, always observing. Every small correction brought the engine closer to perfection. Finally, after what felt like hours but might have been only minutes, Jax stepped back. The engine thrummed with power, balanced and alive. Sparks were gone, hum steady, energy flowing perfectly. Krelth approached, all clear in his glowing eyes. "You have done what no one thought possible," he said. "No alien could have repaired this. You, a human, have done it. Your people, they may be underestimated, but you have proven they should never be dismissed. And perhaps I underestimated the human heart." It was about solving problems, using his mind, and proving quietly that humans were capable of more than anyone believed. The work was never done. There would always be more engines, more challenges, more mysteries. But tonight, he had shown that even against the odds, a human could achieve the extraordinary. And somewhere in the quiet of the night, Krelth's joke about marriage lingered in the air, no longer quite a joke. Jax didn't dwell on it. There were engines to fix, problems to solve, and limits to push. But he felt a small sense of satisfaction, knowing that, for once, a human had truly impressed an alien who thought nothing of them. The night deepened, but Jax worked on, steady hands, calm mind, and unshakable patience. The galaxy outside might have been vast, chaotic, and unpredictable, but inside his small workshop he had tamed a challenge that had seemed impossible, and in doing so proved once again the quiet power of human ingenuity. Morning arrived slowly at the spaceport. Soft white light spread across the metal walkways as ships powered up for departure. Engines hummed, crews shouted orders, and traders began another busy cycle. But near Jax's small workshop, something unusual was happening. A crowd had gathered. Aliens of many species stood in a wide circle, their eyes fixed on one thing, the strange alien engine that had once been called impossible to fix. Jax stood beside it, tired but focused. He had barely slept. His clothes were still stained with oil and metal dust, his hands rough and sore, but his eyes were clear. The engine in front of him was stable now, humming quietly like a sleeping giant. Krelth arrived with dramatic steps, his colorful skin shifting as he moved. His forearms were folded, but his expression was no longer mocking. It was serious, curious, almost respectful. "So," Krelth said loudly, making sure everyone could hear, "this is the moment. My ship's heart stands before us. Human mechanic, are you finished?" No human had ever repaired an engine of this class before. If Jax failed now, it would confirm every belief they had about humans. Jax climbed onto a small platform beside the engine and opened a narrow panel. Inside, soft blue light pulsed in slow rhythm. He adjusted a tiny control, barely moving it. The hum changed. It grew deeper, stronger, smoother. The ground vibrated gently beneath their feet. Jax stepped back and watched carefully. He listened, not just with his ears, but with his whole body. Every engine spoke in its own way. This one was finally calm. "Powering core ignition," Jax said. Krelth raised his head sharply. "That stage has never been reached safely." For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then the engine flared with light, not violent, not wild, but controlled and bright. Energy flowed evenly through every conduit. The hum became a steady, powerful rhythm like a heartbeat. Gasps echoed around the workshop. "It's stable," one alien whispered. "No sparks," another said. "The readings, they're perfect." Then suddenly the engine released a smooth surge of power, clean and flawless. Lights across the ship flickered on in perfect sequence. The vessel responded like it was alive again. The crowd erupted. Some aliens shouted in disbelief. Others clapped their strange hands together. A few simply stared, unable to speak. "A human fixed it. You just have to be quiet enough to hear them. Simple doesn't mean weak." "This human," Krelth continued, "has proven that intelligence is not measured by size, strength, or reputation. It is measured by patience, creativity, and the will to try." Our models showed no solution. Each answer revealed something important. Humans didn't win by being the strongest or smartest on paper. They won by adapting. Krelth watched all of this carefully. At last, he raised one arm again. "And now," he said slowly, "there is one matter left. I said, if you fix this engine, I will marry you. That is why it matters. If I ever choose a partner, I would want one who can fix the impossible. That's the human." As Krelth's ship powered up and lifted smoothly into the sky, Jax watched from his doorway, hands resting at his sides. He didn't wave. He didn't boast. He simply nodded once. Because that was the human way. The spaceport felt different after that day. It was not louder or quieter, not cleaner or more crowded, but something had changed. Aliens who once walked past the human workshops without a glance now slowed their steps. Some stopped, some stared, some whispered. They all looked at the same place, Jax's workshop. Jax noticed it the next morning when he opened the door. 2 alien ships were parked nearby, both waiting. Their crews stood calmly, tools in hand, watching him with something new in their eyes: respect. Jax paused, surprised. This had never happened before. Humans were usually called only when all other options failed, and even then without hope. Now they were waiting first. He sighed quietly and stepped outside. "Good morning," he said simply. One of the aliens bowed slightly. "Human mechanic, we were told you listen to machines." Word spread quickly across the spaceport. The story traveled from dock to dock, from ship to ship. A human had fixed an engine that defeated entire alien engineering guilds, not by force, not by advanced tools, but by patience and understanding. Soon more ships arrived. Jax worked as he always had, calm, careful, quiet. He did not change his prices. He did not demand praise. He fixed what was broken and explained what he could. Other human mechanics watched in disbelief. "Why are they asking you?" one asked. Jax shrugged. "Because I listen." Inside, Krelth stood alone in the command chamber, watching the stars slide past. The engine hummed beneath his feet, perfect, balanced, alive. He smiled. He had replayed the moment many times in his mind. The human, the quiet confidence, the calm refusal to be impressed by status or power. Krelth had ruled worlds. He had commanded fleets. Yet never before had someone changed his view of the galaxy with such simple effort. He activated a communication channel. "Send this message," he ordered. The message traveled fast. It reached trade councils, noble houses, engineering academies, and exploration fleets. It said one thing clearly. Back at the spaceport, Jax sat on a small crate eating a simple meal. His hands were sore, his back ached, but he felt calm. A shadow fell across him. He looked up. Krelth stood there. Jax nearly dropped his food. "You're back already. In fact, everything is right. My people wish to learn your methods, not steal them, learn them." "Agreed." One evening, Jax stood outside his workshop, watching ships leave the port. Krelth joined him. "There is still the matter of my promise," Krelth said lightly. Jax sighed. "You said you wouldn't." "That's enough." Human workshops became centers of innovation. Not grand, not flashy, just effective. Aliens learned something important from humans, that progress did not always come from power or pride. Sometimes it came from humility. Jax continued working, one engine at a time, one problem at a time. And every time an alien laughed at a human,